Happy New Year, and thanks for letting us jumpstart your 2022 with a new episode from the Coatings Pro interview series. As always, I'm your host, Ben Dubose, and I'm a staff writer with Coatings Pro magazine. In this episode, we're getting back into our Showcase Profile series to spotlight longtime members of SSPC and/or NACE International. We're doing this to highlight the integration of SSPC, the Society for Protective Coatings, and NACE, and to explore how the new combined organization known as AMP, the Association for Materials Protection and Performance, can best serve the coatings industry going forward. Just prior to the holidays, we spoke with Davies Hood, president of industrial coatings manufacturer Induron Protective Coatings. The topics from our interview certainly included some association talk related to NACE, SSPC, and now AMP, but we also touched on his career in coatings, his advice for peers and industry newcomers, market trends as we head into 2022, and a whole lot more. So without any further delay, let's play back that conversation. Davies, good morning. How are you?
Fantastic.
Thank you for joining us. And I think a good place to start would be if you could just give us your personal biography, tell our listeners about your career in the industry, any relevant certifications, just your journey as you've progressed through the coatings industry and now with Induron.
Well, my name is Davies Hood, and I am the third generation owner of Induron Protective Coatings based out of Birmingham, Alabama. I got in the business in the fall of 1997 in a outside sales position, and have worked from that position into a business development position that was sort of troubleshooting and working with a team of manufacturers reps. Had a background in coatings operations, heading up our customer service and manufacturing department, and followed in my dad's footsteps, moving into a equity position back in 2011. Came in, started to run the company much like he did. He's a trained engineer, did that for a couple of years, and found out that I really wasn't having a very good time day to day. The company was performing well, but I made a decision to switch positions with Jeff White, the gentleman that was our sales manager, who has an accounting degree and was a captain in the U.S. Army, and a very loyal, natural leader. I moved him into the position of general manager and executive vice president, and I became both the president and the sales manager because my passion is in people and customers, and I wanted Induron to be a customer-focused organization, and I wanted to grow the company through growing our sales team, and have been doing that ever since. We have hired sales managers to take over that part of my responsibility, but I am still very, very active in Induron's marketing and all of our customer-facing positions. I am a NACE Level 3 certified coatings inspector. I did that early in my career and found it to be incredibly valuable from a standpoint of self-confidence, but also a stamp of approval with those in the know in our industry. I am the owner of a company, and I oftentimes get approached by larger entities trying to buy our company, and the main reason that I say that Induron is not for sale is because I enjoy working in the coatings industry, and I enjoy my position here at Induron. I know that might sound campy, but I like getting up and going to work in the coatings business. Not every day, but certainly most days.
Yeah, and I think that flows into the next question well, which is about Induron's background. For anyone who is not familiar with you guys, just tell us a little bit more about the company. I know you mentioned that it's based in Birmingham. What are Induron's subject areas of expertise?
Well, Induron started 1947. Birmingham is an old steel city. Um, where there's steel, there's corrosion. A good way to mitigate that corrosion is through protective coatings. So we started in 1947 as industrial paint manufacturing company. That was before the days of marketing firms. So say what you do what you say. That's what we started as, for this, providing primers for the steel industry. We got into architectural business, grew to 13 retail stores located throughout the state of Alabama. Had one in Florida and one in Evansville, Indiana, which is kind of a funny story. But back 25, 26 years ago, my dad saw the writing on the wall and sold off those retail stores and got into only industrial coatings. That's when we went from Induron to Induron. And when I say industrial coatings, the way that we fit into the market as a smaller player is to hyper focus on niches where we have product expertise and marketplace expertise. And those three niches that we focus on are ductile iron sewer pipe linings, wastewater treatment plants, potable water storage tanks and steel and concrete in the plants, and also electric transmission and distribution structures. We hyper focus on those three niches. We don't try to be everything for everyone. And by doing that, we've been able to prove value to our customers and partners in those somewhat underserved market niches.
For you personally, you referenced your NACE certification. How has your affiliation with the legacy organizations, SSPC and NACE, been beneficial over the years? And I suppose this can apply to Induron as well. And when I ask this question, certainly certifications are part of it, but also there's conferences, there's events, there's training programs, there's lots of different areas that you can go. But basically, how has affiliation with the legacy organizations benefited you and or Induron?
The training provided by both NACE and SSP is tantamount. That's number one. But attendance in the conferences, particularly the SSPC annual conference, has been really, really valuable to us because it's a fantastic place for us to network with our customers, the contractors that actually buy our products. I always thought that was the best contractor-based conference and trade show because of the emphasis on new state-of-the-art equipment, new state-of-the-art products, as well as all the training, the classes that went on in conjunction with the trade show. So I would say training, number one, annual conference, particularly the SSPC show, number two. But number three, the creation and maintenance update of industry standards. The SSPC surface prep standards are sort of what we use here at Induron almost as the Bible. The concrete coatings classes that are put on. And we at Induron know about paint. We don't necessarily know concrete. So SSPC was a great place to learn that. And one of the things that I have always tried to do is I'm a big proponent of continuing education on all levels within an organization, and we aspire to have all of the Induron salesmen become NACE Level 3 certified coatings inspectors, just because of the overall industry understanding and respect of that whole process. So
And
lots of value.
and when you say the annual conference, you mean Coatings Plus, right?
Yes, yes.
Gotcha. So now that SSPC and NACE are one organization known as AMP, what are you hoping to see from the merger? What can the new organization do to help coatings manufacturers like Induron?
My big hope is that this is a true merger and not an acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it is truly the joining of two similar, like-minded, valuable organizations and not a big fish eating a small fish. I am not a proponent of the adage that bigger is always better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's somewhat of a warning and a personal fear. The best value I see, and this is going to sound a little counterintuitive, but if AMP can better support the contractors and engineers, spec writers, and inspectors in our business, that will help coatings manufacturers like us. And what I'm talking about is going back to training,
Mm-hmm.
continually updating standards, and helping the value you get at a conference, helping to introduce state-of-the-art equipment, materials like new blast media, and certainly products like industrial coatings.
So let's talk about your career as a whole. What are some of the ways that the industry has changed over the time you've spent at Induron that you outlined earlier? When you talk to those contractors that you just mentioned, what are some of the things that you're hearing? What are some of the trends as far as the technologies, best practices, new safety and environmental rules? What are the things they're telling you out in the field that they need from you all as a manufacturer?
Well, going back to the change and throughout my career, which is funny because I still feel like a young man, although I look around the room and I've been in the business for a while now, almost 25 years. The number one change that I've noticed is significant safety improvements. We do a lot with painting potable water storage tanks, and a lot of those are elevated. And when I got in the business, safety was not first. Now, every time I go onto a job site, regardless of whether it's a new tank or a tank repaint, the safety that is in place is very, very impressive to me. And I'm talking about harnesses and climbing safety, but I'm talking about hard hats, I'm talking about respirators and other PPE. Safety has come a long way. So have environmental improvements in the products. And what I'm talking about is VOC reduction across all of our product lines. When I got in the business, a high build, high solids epoxy was 4 to 6 mil, 54% volume solids product. Now we are routinely seeing 100% solids, essentially solvent-free products, VOC-free products that can be applied up to 50 mils on a vertical surface inside a potable water storage tank. Crazy innovation there. And that kind of ties into the next point, when I'm talking about the paint systems that we are manufacturing and selling today significantly extend the life of the assets that we are trying to protect. Once again, when I got in the business, interior lining for a water tank was 3 coats, total of 12 mils of paint. Now we're doing something that's solvent free with a nominal DFT of 30 mils. So it's not a stretch to say that will provide twice as much corrosion protection as 3 coats at 12 mils. On the outside of structures, when I got in the business, polyurethane was state of the art. Now, fluoropolymer technology is state of the art, and that could provide double the color and gloss retention. And the last thing I gotta talk about, and this is somewhat this is great for those of us in the coatings manufacturing business. There are more qualified third-party inspectors out on job sites now than certainly 20 years ago. And it's my sincere hope that we in the industry can continue to promote that and get more inspection, because as a business owner, I know what's measured is accomplished. It really helps us. So safety, environmental improvement, life extension, and quality inspection are significant changes that I personally have witnessed.
So what do you say to someone who's coming into the industry now, or perhaps a new employee for you guys, for example? What advice do you have for someone who's entering the industry in the 2020s and is relatively new to coatings as far as how they should progress, improve their careers, and advance themselves in the industry?
So it's funny. Be nice, be honest, and have good manners, because this is a small world we live in.
It is.
This is a tiny industry. Build long-term relationships and nurture those relationships. That kind of goes with the honesty and good manners, but build relationships with your customers, your suppliers, your coworkers, and your competitors, because you never know when that's going to change, when each of those roles are going to change. It does sound a little campy, but this is a relationship business, and those that are good at that are really successful in our business. And then the other thing I encourage young and old, learn like a sponge. There's a lot of stuff out there that for self-improvement, and by stuff, I'm talking about classes, I'm talking about articles, I'm talking about going and seeing and witnessing, whether that's a fab shop, a pipe painting facility, or different job sites. Go and learn, because that helps young and old.
So earlier we were talking about the merger of SSPC and NACE into AMP and some of the changes that result from that. One of those, from our perspective at Coatings Pro, of course, is that Coatings Pro is now becoming a member magazine of AMP. So the distribution is wider. There's certainly new opportunities. We're very excited about that. What are some of the ways that Coatings Pro has helped you all at Induron over the years? And now that Coatings Pro is celebrating its 20th anniversary, what are you hoping to see from the magazine in the future?
What I've always really appreciated about Coatings Pro are the contractor focused stories that y'all really promote and focus on. That kind of goes back to the education and learn like a sponge from my last answer. Mm-hmm. But I have always been impressed by the contractor focus of Coatings Pro stories. We've worked together by providing some content to Coatings Pro, we being Induron, and you guys have helped my company promote successful projects. But what I love about Coatings Pro and that contractor focused approach is that it promotes all of the people that are important for success in a painting project. And I'm talking about certainly the contractors, but there are a lot of different pieces of equipment. There are inspectors, there are specifying engineers, there's fabricators and erectors. It's not just one piece or one person that makes something a success. It's really a team win when there's a successful coatings project, and Coatings Pro seems to grasp that and promote that team first approach.
Davies, that's a really great endorsement. Thank you so much for that. As we wind down, for anyone listening that wants to learn more about Induron, or perhaps you in particular, what's the best way that they can get in touch with you all or learn more information?
So Induron is active on LinkedIn. We have a Facebook page. We have a Twitter account. But really, what I'd like to do is drive people to the Induron.com website. And the reason I say that is we have what I think is a really cool 10-year-old blog library that touches on a lot of the different things we have discussed this morning. It also has a news section, and by news section, I'm talking about stories about Induron or about our employees in trade publications like Coatings Pro, but also some non-trade publications that I'm pretty proud of. And then lastly, we got some videos that are state of the art. So Induron.com.
Sounds good. Folks, he is Davies Hood, president of Induron. You can go to Induron.com to learn more about them. For us at Coatings Pro, my name is Ben Dubose, and you can access our website at coatingspromag.com. And we're also on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, pretty much every social media network out there. Just search for Coatings Pro Magazine, and you can find us very easily. Again, for Davies Hood, I'm Ben Dubose. Thanks as always for listening, and please come back soon for another new episode from the Coatings Pro interview series.